you might be competing with like 100 other people for one host family, especially for host families that are high profile. Like so many people want to be in a big city like Berlin or Paris. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. If you're new, I am Edwina Hanna, one of the co-founders of Au Pair Paris. Our other co-founder is Hannah Watkin, picture here. And if you're not new, welcome back. We are a channel that was started in order to help empower au pairs to form some sort of community and to just help you answer your questions. Not only do we answer your questions, but our community answers each other's questions. So I highly encourage you to join in. You can become an APOP member, you can join our APOP open forum. You can join us on Instagram. There's so many things that you can do to become a part of this community and not only get your questions answered, but also help others answer their questions. So we just love that this is a community that's been growing and that not only helps with au pairing, but just in life in general. So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of AuPairWorld versus Au Pair Butrfly. Just to be frank from the beginning, Au Pair Butrfly does sponsor us as a channel, but they do so in a way that allows us to continue to be an honest and neutral platform. We try not to be biased, and we give as honest opinions as we can in terms of all the agencies and all the websites out there when it comes to au pairing. So while we want to be upfront and say Au Pair Butrfly helps us stay alive since we're a nonprofit organization, they don't make us skew our opinions to be biased toward them. So that's an important thing to note when going into this video. But in terms of what I'll be talking about today, I will be going through just a list of what I believe are the benefits and negatives of going through each of the pathways of AuPairWorld versus Au Pair Butrfly. Please put in the comments below if you found your family through AuPairWorld or Au Pair Butrfly. I think it's really helpful for everyone else in the community to know kind of other people's experiences, and testimonials are kind of the best way to understand what you're going to be going through when it comes to being an au pair. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, the first thing I want to explain in this video is kind of the difference between AuPairWorld and Au Pair Butrfly, because it's something I don't think is explicitly understood. AuPairWorld, as many of you know, is kind of one of the first websites that pops up when it comes to au pairing, and it's a free website. It's free for au pairs, and families have to pay a fee of around like $30 to $40 in order to get matched with an au pair. It's completely free and for families and au pairs that are all around the world. That being said, there are more regulations. You can't use AuPairWorld if you're trying to be an au pair in the US, for example, because the regulations are such that you have to go through an agency if you want to be an au pair in the US. But if you want to be an au pair in Europe, a lot of people find their families or try to look for their very first family via AuPairWorld because it's free and it's such an open, vast space to find families. So that being said, the major difference between AuPairWorld and Au Pair Butrfly is that Au Pair Butrfly is kind of a hybrid between being an agency and a website like AuPairWorld. On Au Pair Butrfly, there are free options and there are paid options since it is that hybrid. The way it works is you can be a certified au pair or a regular au pair, which means that a certified au pair, you go through the interview process with Au Pair Butrfly and you get a mark on your profile that says you are certified. The benefit to that is that it shows the families on there that you went through this extra hoop to get certified, you've been verified by the Au Pair Butrfly team, and you went through your interview and passed. And on the family's end, you can also go through an interview and get certified by the Au Pair Butrfly team, so that it's kind of safer for the au pair because you know that there was that third-party screening process, and they will also have a check on their profile that marks them as a premium family. So you have a classic family which is free to match up with, and then a premium family. If you do match with the premium family, you'll end up having to pay. But the benefit of that is that you have the agency that has your back, and you have the discount code, which is We Love Butterfly, through Au Pair Paris, if you do have to go pay and find your family through Butterfly. And also, if anything goes wrong, you have the agency's support not only to match you up with other au pairs, but also to match you up with a new host family if that's something that you have to do down the line. Plus, with visas and all of that regulation and rules, you have the au pair keeping you informed about all of the things that change. That's basically the major difference between AuPairWorld and Au Pair Butterfly. AuPairWorld is a strictly free website, which is through your own volition. You can find your own family independently. And then Au Pair Butterfly is kind of the mix of both of those worlds. You can either go and use them as an agency, or you can use them also as a free website. You just have to make sure you're being matched with a classic family and not a premium family. Au Pair Butterfly, will also mention, does educational trips and academic trips and helps with like coaching for the educational system in France. So if that's something you're looking for as well, they do other things outside of the au pair sphere, which could be interesting to look into. Talk about the pros and cons of going through AuPairWorld and the pros and cons of going through Au Pair Butterfly. To start, AuPairWorld. Obviously, one of the biggest pros, also I apologize, I just made coffee and I feel like my coffee maker is now going to make really weird sounds in the background, but you can hear me talk over it. So, one of the biggest pros of AuPairWorld is obviously the flexibility of it all, right? And the fact that it's free. Those are the two big pros. You have the independence and the flexibility to go through au pair families on your own. They have a lot of different countries that you can look for. If you're not like looking specifically for France, you can open up your options in terms of that. There's a lot of families on there. So it's kind of fun to be able to peruse and change your preferences and then see kind of who you match up with based on who reaches out to your profile or who you message. So having that flexibility is great because there are so many options, and it just makes you realize like, wow, the idea of being an au pair anywhere in the world is so exciting. And the fact that you can just make an account, put up some pictures, fill out your profile. There's obviously some sort of verification ID process that you have to go through, but it's really easy to set up your profile and then quickly get matched, or at least be in contact with a few families after that. The con, however, with AuPairWorld is the fact that because there are so many families and because it is such an easy process to get onto the website, that also means that competition is huge. So you might be competing with like 100 other people for one host family, especially for host families that are high profile. Like, so many people want to be in a big city like Berlin or Paris, and as a result, competition can be super high and you don't know how many people this host family is also talking to. So you have to make your profile really stand out, and the ways you can do that are by making your pictures be with kids, or really writing in like 2 languages if you can. Sometimes that makes the host family more comfortable to know that you have, if you're looking for a French host family, for example, that you also speak a little bit of French as well as English. And yeah, there are other ways to help your profile stand out as well, but that's something that you really have to be wary of when going through AuPairWorld, just because the competition is so high. Another con is that while AuPairWorld does have technically a hotline number that you can call if something happens, you kind of are on your own when it comes to the visa process and going through anything else that's outside of the being matched up with your host family. You also have to navigate everything else on your own, like finding a visa and getting support. That's kind of why Au Pair Paris started to come to be, and we started au pair coaching and things like that, because a lot of people find their family through AuPairWorld and need that extra assistance, because finding a family is only one part of the puzzle. So I give coaching to au pairs that are either in a rematch that need kind of their hand held through the process, or going through the visa process, or really to help answer any of your questions. I know how weird it is to become an au pair and not know anyone else going through the process, so I try to kind of be your friend and walk you through and answer anything that you need answered during that process. So we have APOP coaching with me on an individual level, and then we also have the APOP community for support in case you want your questions answered by any of the au pairs in our community. But that said, AuPairWorld does have a helpline, but they don't they're not an agency technically, so they're not going to be able to help rematch you or give you that direct support that going through an agency or Au Pair Butrfly, for example, might be able to give you. So that's probably the biggest con in terms of going through AuPairWorld. And I would say the last con is the fact that since you don't have that third party looking over your family and looking over everything with you, you don't have that other pair of eyes to tell you, okay, this family actually is like a bit of a red flag. Au pair families might be finding an au pair for the very first time, and so they don't know certain rules and regulations that come with the program. And as a result, it's your job as an au pair to advocate for yourself and make sure that your family is in the know about the rules and you're in the know about the rules. So it really takes a lot of communication and advocacy if you're looking to find an AuPairWorld family, which is totally valid. I mean, it's doable. People do it all the time. I think it's just important to know that because it's not an agency, you just have to make sure that you're sticking up for yourself and you know what the difference is between kind of a good family or a well-informed family and a bad family or a not informed family at all. So that brings me to the pros and cons of Au Pair Butrfly. And just to explain again, Au Pair Butrfly, it works a lot like AuPairWorld, but it also has the agency option. So I think that right there is a humongous benefit in that it's kind of like what you want it to be, and it can really open the doors for you in terms of having another option to find a host family. But the way I see it, there are 6 major benefits of going through Au Pair Butrfly, and I will go through them and then go through the cons. The first, probably obvious benefit is the support that you're gonna get. Because they have an agency, it's different than AuPairWorld in that you know the team and you know the people that are matching you with your host family, and you can contact them directly in terms of getting your questions answered or needing any help with anything. So the level of support that you'll have is probably a little bit more direct than you would get with AuPairWorld, which is just such a big organization and has obviously their own pros, but they can't be attentive to every single au pair that's on their system just because they're so big. So yeah, support is a big way that they differ and a benefit to Au Pair Butrfly. The second is options and competition. Because Au Pair Butrfly doesn't serve the entire world, it mostly markets Anglophones and other au pairs from around the world who want to come to France, and French au pairs, they partner with partner agencies around the world and help send them to Germany, to Spain, to the UK, Australia, New Zealand, and even the US. So there are still a lot of options, but because they were founded in 2017 and are specific toward France exchanges, there's a lot less competition and they still have a lot of options. So I think that's a really great benefit to making your profile in Au Pair Butrfly, just because you're not at a really tiny agency in a small town, but you're not at a huge website like AuPairWorld either. So it really strikes that balance between being too big but not too small. Third benefit to going through AuPairWorld is that Au Pair Butrfly, we know the team, and just to go a little bit into that, the reason why we decided to work with them was because I was kind of looking to have APOP partner with someone whose mission I believed in. Since APOP is such an organization that helps to empower and advocate for au pairs, we wanted to find someone who supports au pairs in the way that we think they need to be supported. And Au Pair Butrfly reached out to us, and I got to know Manuela and Claire, who are the co-founders of Au Pair Butrfly, and they really allowed me to be honest in terms of what I felt au pairs needed, what was best for au pairs, and the problems surrounding all of this stuff. And the fact that they gave me the platform and raised my voice and empowered my voice to speak out for au pairs and their issues, I thought was such a testament to who they are and what they're building Au Pair Butrfly on, which I really, really appreciate. They're not trying to hide anything. We make content for them over on their Instagram now. I make funny TikToks. But we know the team and we know what they stand for, and I think that for me is a huge pro to going to Au Pair Butrfly, just because sometimes with organizations that are so large, you just don't know who is behind the screen, and so just having that personal connection to them really means a lot, and I think just makes me like Au Pair Butrfly so much. And that kind of goes into my next point, which is Au Pair Butrfly and APOP have a partnership now, and so if you find your au pair host family through Au Pair Butrfly, you are automatically an APOP member for free. And so that's a huge thing because being an au pair and finding community is really hard. So if you go through Au Pair Butrfly, you're automatically invited to any of our events that Hannah and I host, as well as the events that we host on the ground in Paris. You have like a discount code. Either you can use our discount code, which is We Love Butterfly, if you get matched with an au pair family through Butterfly, and you can use their discount code for us to get a free APOP membership, which I won't mention in the video because you have to get matched with a family first to get that discount code. But yeah, huge benefit as well. You have community, and that's something that they really want their au pairs to have, is community, and obviously that's what we're all about. And then a final 2 benefits of going through Au Pair Butrfly is that you'll have the support, and that not only means for rematching if something happens, you'll have someone to advocate for you with your host family. If something needs to be communicated or if an issue arises, you have that third party to back you up and to talk you through those issues. And you also have support in terms of visas, regulations, keeping on top of like the rules surrounding the au pair program, especially this year with COVID. Things change every day, so it's nice to have those people to go to. And then you have support if you have to go through visas or rematch in general. You always have that kind of safety net and safety blanket to back you up. And I think that's a humongous, probably the biggest difference in terms of going through a free website independently versus going through an agency type thing like Au Pair Butrfly. So to close off this section 2, I do want to talk about the cons of Au Pair Butrfly, and one of the cons and biggest differences is the fact that obviously AuPairWorld is free and Au Pair Butrfly has paid options. It can be free, but there are paid options, and those prices can be a turnoff for a lot of au pairs, especially if you're price sensitive. They can add up, especially if you are going into this with absolutely no money, which we don't recommend. I definitely recommend going into your au pair year with savings in your bank account. But yeah, that's the biggest difference and the biggest con, but I will also say that I think the benefits of having that support, knowing the team, the community, and all of that stuff significantly outweigh the cons. But you know, it just depends on what type of au pair you are. There are au pairs that are way more price sensitive than others, but I think looking back on my own experience, if I knew the amount of trouble I would have as an au pair, especially with my first host family, and the level of difficulty that I would have had advocating for myself and communicating things that were really hard, I would have really liked to have kind of that backup plan and backup agency to support me. So I did go through a free website, but to be honest, like looking back, I really don't know if that was the best choice for me. Obviously no regrets. I am where I am today because of that, but it makes the process a lot easier when you have a person to go through and hold your hand throughout the process and just have mentally that support in the back of your mind. So that is kind of the end of this video. I really tried to be as honest as possible and transparent as possible, but things slip my mind all the time. So if you have questions that I didn't answer, definitely put them down below. And if you liked this video and want more content like this and want me to talk further about this issue, definitely give this video a thumbs up, because that's how we know you like it, and we'll continue to make more content surrounding this topic. And leave a comment down below. It really helps us out and helps us get the word out to other au pairs who might be looking for help and are in your similar shoes or need your advice. Thank you so much for watching this video. We appreciate seriously every moment that you spend watching our videos and liking our content and just being in this community. And I hope to see you on Instagram and in future videos. Thanks, bye. Alexa, what time is it?
The time is 11:35 a.m.